Tonight, counting down. Venues across Perth prepare to throw open their doors at the stroke of midnight as WA rings in Phase 4 restrictions. Victoria's COVID testing blitz as panic buying again forces supermarket limits here in WA. Virgin Australia sold off to a US investment group, what it'll mean for local jobs. Australia scores the Women's Football World Cup and our Sam's jumping for joy. And later, how to get your hands on a piece of Aussie land speed history as Roscoe McGlashan pushes to become the fastest man on Earth.
This is 10 News First, Perth, with Monica Koss.
Hello again. We're just hours away from becoming the envy of the nation with Phase 4 restrictions to kick in at midnight. Natalie Forrest is live for us from Northbridge. Nat, nightclubs are ready and raring to open their doors.
Monica, they certainly are. It's time to get your dancing shoes on because as of 11:59 p.m. tonight, WA nightclubs are back in business. Now, I'm here at Magnet House in Northbridge. It used to be the old Capital Club and its grand reopening was scheduled in March, but just 2 days prior, the COVID pandemic shut everything down. Now, joining me tonight is one of the club's directors, Dave Heaton. And Dave, a very special reopening for you tonight.
A big reopening. We've been looking forward to this for the last 3 months and we're all very excited. You know, we've got customers, we've got staff who are really, there's a lot of good energy about tonight.
Tell us what COVID has meant for clubs like yours and for staff.
It's meant a lot of uncertainty, really. Like over the last 3 months, we didn't even know if we were ever coming back. You know, so, you know, it's been an emotional ride over the last 3 months and we've tried to keep our team together, try to keep us, everybody sort of engaged and active and, you know, all our staff have been very supportive and so have our patrons. So, you know, this night's just gearing up to be one of the biggest ones, you know, in recent memory.
A lot of preparations going on. Obviously, cleaning has been big.
Well, obviously with COVID, you know, we have to concentrate on cleaning. So, you know, we spent a lot of time cleaning the venue, making sure that it's safe for patrons to re-enter. You know, we've got signage to encourage people to maintain their social distance. Obviously, the patronage is going to be lower than normal, in line with the government regulations, but we think that that's a really good thing. Nice step towards, you know, reopening fully on the 18th of July.
And speaking of social distancing, how do you go about tackling that?
Well, at the end of the day, it's individual responsibility to keep their distance. I mean, we can only encourage people, and most people are pretty mindful of social distancing and understand the ramifications of it. So, yeah, we're pretty confident that people will do the right thing.
All right, have a great night. And as you can see there, Mon, that excitement is building and obviously people will be out and about. We're expecting queues outside of all of the nightclubs right across the city as party goers get ready to drink and dance. Back behind the bar. WA nightclubs ready to open their doors at the stroke of midnight when Phase 4 restrictions kick in.
More people will be back at work, more businesses functioning, more customers out there. There's huge pent-up demand, I might add.
Venues like Metro's in Fremantle ready to rock from 11:59 tonight, while last-minute cleaning was well underway at cocktail bar Edison's today as it reopens for the first time in 3 months.
Across the group, we have about 100 staff coming back on board, so it's very exciting, obviously, for the staff and for us to get them back.
For many venues like this, midnight marks the long-awaited return of normality. Have a drink, thank you, and even a dance. But just how social distancing will work, especially on the dance floor, comes down to trust.
Police will not be out there tonight with a 1.5 metre ruler on the dance floor ensuring that people stay apart. But we want people to be sensible.
Major venues like Optus Stadium and RAC Arena can also provide entertainment at 50% capacity from tomorrow, while the gaming tables at Crown Casino will be back in business.
She can open up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so we could have technically opened up at midnight tonight, but we thought it'd be a bit easier to do it at 6 in the morning, and we bring about 4,000 staff back, so we're very excited about that.
Getting home has been taken care of too, with the return of free late-night trains.
As a result, we wanted to make sure that we had our trains operating. I expect there will be a lot of usage, but I expect there'll be a lot of activity out there tonight.
As for the Premier hitting the clubs,
Well, the dance floors can't open till 11:59 and I'll be in bed by then.
instead saving himself for his local watering hole in Rockingham tomorrow for Mark Eats Free Day, his presence ensuring the entire bar gets shouted a pint.
And if I reveal a time, it may cause trouble. So I'm not going to reveal a time at this point in time.
Natalie Forrest for 10 News First.
Victoria's COVID-19 blitz continues with tens of thousands of people tested in the past 24 hours. 30 new cases were recorded overnight, with ongoing confusion over whether or not the army will be called in to help contain the outbreak.
In the suburbs hardest hit, hundreds of workers are taking to the streets, making sure important safety messages are getting to everyone.
We're here on behalf of the Victorian Government discussing coronavirus with you and making you aware that you live in a hot spot. Are you willing to get tested today?
Yes.
And there's little sign of the virus slowing. 30 new cases recorded in the past 24 hours.
Over 736,000 test results in Victoria to date, and that's an increase of 20,000 since yesterday.
Among those, a healthcare worker at the Origin Youth Mental Health Facility in Footscray, forcing the centre into lockdown.
A number of staff have been put into quarantine who've been close contacts, and obviously a number of patients are also possibly close contacts, so are in quarantine.
2 more childcare centres have also been impacted, while a student from St Monica's College in Epping is confirmed to have the virus. That student worked at McDonald's Mill Park while infectious. Of the new cases, 7 are linked to known outbreaks, 5 are returned travellers, and 5 have been detected through routine testing.
For those within Melbourne's hotspots, testing is not compulsory. But even so, sites like this one are being inundated with people who just want to make sure they're okay.
I had the sniffles and I had a runny nose, and so you name it.
And while Victoria is feeling the full force of the virus, Prime Minister Scott Morrison insists the state does have the support of the entire nation.
At National Cabinet today, there was a great sense of solidarity in supporting Victoria.
The Victorian response, which is being assisted, as the PM has said, by people from interstate as well, it's good, strong and appropriate, and it's focal.
But confusion remains over the involvement of the Australian Defence Force and what officers' roles will be. One thing is clear though, Victoria now finds itself in the unenviable position of being the heart of Australia's coronavirus battle, with a long road to recovery ahead. Catherine Firkin for 10 News First.
A second wave of panic buying hitting Victorian supermarkets is now affecting the rest of Australia. Woolworths today announced restrictions for toilet paper and paper towels across all of its supermarkets, including here in WA.
I just urge people, when you go out shopping, do the right thing. You don't have to stock up on toilet paper. It's silly.
There'll now be a 2-pack limit on toilet paper and paper towels. The supermarket says there are no plans to limit other items in WA at this stage. There have been dramatic spikes in coronavirus infections in some of the worst-hit countries. One American state's predicting it will overtake Brazil in just 2 weeks.
Outnumbered and out of options. Metropolitan Police forced to retreat from a housing estate in Brixton.
The police are getting run out of air!
Illegal dance parties, a heat wave and growing frustration at the ongoing COVID-19 restrictions finally exploded into rioting. Police cars were smashed and rocks thrown at the fleeing officers. Concerns are growing that raves and other mass gatherings will spark a second wave of infections. Those concerns not eased by scenes like these. Tens of thousands of Britons flocking to the beaches as a heat wave settles over the country. Also heating up, infection tolls in much of the United States. California, Florida and Texas all reporting record increases in coronavirus cases. The message to socially distance and wear a mask not getting through to some.
It depends. Places where, you see people that they don't even know about it, and so there's half and half, I believe.
With hospitals nearing capacity in the worst-hit areas and a global warning issued for an oxygen shortage, those on the front line are worried.
We are at capacity. It's kind of scary and daunting.
But seemingly not scary enough for some.
You're going to allow the government to tell you you have to wear a mask?
Donald Trump still refusing to accept the reality of a pandemic seemingly out of control. Today touring a car factory with hardly a mask in sight.
But we have cases because we test. Deaths are down. We have one of the lowest mortality rates. We've done an incredible historic job.
History may also remember another statement. The head of the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention saying as many as 20 million people may have been infected in the United States. America significantly outstripping the rest of the world in cases and deaths, and there's no sign of the virus slowing. Amber Caneen for 10 News First.
A police officer accused of raping a woman on a Tinder date has been acquitted. Brendan Crew is live at the Perth District Court. Brendan, the judge wasn't convinced the woman had not consented.
Oh, Monica, that's right. Daniel Gerald Back walked away from court a short time ago. He was accused of raping a woman while on a Tinder date. The two met for a date in September 2018. When they went back to his house, she alleges that he sexually assaulted her. Details of her injuries after the night were read in court, but the judge ruled it was a result of rough sex, not rape. The judge said she was not satisfied beyond reasonable doubt that the woman did not consent to the sex and that the woman's perception of events were coloured by her injuries. Well, Monica, Mr. Back has been acquitted of all charges and walks away tonight a free man.
Thanks, Brendan. Virgin Australia's future became a little more certain today. American equity firm Bain Capital has confirmed it will buy the embattled airline, saving thousands of jobs.
Grounded, no more. For months, Virgin Australia has been flying blind, but today it was presented with a map out of this mess.
We know it's not over yet, but I think it's pretty fair to say that myself and certainly all my colleagues are very relieved.
US equity firm Bain Capital inked a sale deed with administrators Deloitte, making commitments to support the current management team led by CEO Paul Scurrah, keeping thousands of jobs. All travel credits and Velocity booked flights will be honoured, as will $450 million worth of employee entitlements. Of Virgin's 9,000 staff, it's expected up to 6,000 will keep their jobs. Nick Harris has worked for the company for 14 years.
It would probably be naive of people to expect that, it was all going to be rainbows and lollipops and we were going to go back to normal.
While the unions do welcome a buyer, they say an extension of JobKeeper is the only way to keep aviation alive.
The footprint of the company is contingent on the virus, but it is mostly contingent on whether or not the federal government is going to do the right thing.
Up until this morning, it was a two-horse race, but competing US firm Cyrus Capital dramatically pulled out, saying the administrators have not returned calls, emails or meaningfully engaged with Cyrus to progress its offer. Deloitte has not responded to those claims. Virgin Mark II will look a little different. One big change is less emphasis on serving business class customers, but some things aren't as clear. For instance, what will happen to the Velocity program and Tiger Airways, how big Bain's bid was and how much money the creditors will get back.
The challenge in all of this is making sure that Virgin emerges as a strong, competitive second airline, that as many jobs are saved as possible and that as many routes are saved as possible.
The proposal will be voted on at a meeting in August, and the company's 12,000 creditors have almost 7 billion reasons to consider it. Charlotte Goodlett for 10 News First.
It's been called the greatest day in Australian football. We, along with New Zealand, have been named hosts of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. And if Matilda's captain Sam Kerr has her way, we could be seeing the Aussies play right here in Perth.
Of all the goals scored for women's sport in Australia, this is arguably the biggest.
The host country, which will be Australia, New Zealand.
The Australian soccer headquarters brought to tears as they were named hosts of the 2023 Women's World Cup.
I couldn't sleep, to be honest. I was pretty nervous and
yeah, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Perth's Sam Kerr lit up the Opera House overnight. The Matildas captain today using her global stardom to make one special request.
And hopefully the Matildas get a game here in Perth, so if FFA is watching, fingers crossed.
The month-long football festival will be played out in 12 cities across Australia and New Zealand, with WA hoping to host group stages and 3 knockout games.
This is going to be the biggest thing Western Australia's ever hosted.
The matches here in Perth will be played at HBF Park in front of 20,000 fans, but the viewing audience is expected to be much bigger. The last Women's World Cup held in France drew in an audience of more than 1 billion viewers.
Someone asked me would I rather go to an Olympics or a World Cup, and I said World Cup 100%. This is the pinnacle of our sport.
The biggest show in football coming down under, a game changer for women's sport.
When I first started in the Matildas, we could barely get a home Matildas friendly match, and now we're going to be hosting the biggest tournament for women's football.
Steph Baumgartel for 10 News First.
A North Beach man's admitted vandalising a James Sterling statue in the city. The monument to the first governor of the Swan River colony was spray painted on June 12. Today, Malachy John O'Connor pleaded guilty to property damage.
The fact is that statue, what that represents, the likeness, the man behind the likeness of that statue murdered up to about 150 Indigenous people. So I just feel it's very culturally insensitive.
The 30-year-old will be sentenced next week. Soccer superstar Sam Kerr says she's fed up with the nastiness on social media. Her comments come after West Coast's Liam Ryan was again targeted by racist trolls online.
To be honest, my opinion is I've jumped off social media, Twitter, the last few days. I think it's a very hostile place and it gives people a platform that really don't need it.
Eagles coach Adam Simpson says the team's standing by Ryan and is disappointed it keeps happening. Time to get an early look at sport with Lockie. You'll have more on the Eagles tonight.
Certainly will, Mon. They've included a fresh face for tomorrow's game and he's keen to impress. Also, we reveal all about the WA hub, where Geelong and Collingwood will stay and how it will work. Plus, Bully Dog, the Bont leads the way to get their season back on track. And the joke's over. It's a red letter day for Liverpool and their faithful. That is a massive moment in sport.
A massive celebration. After the break on 10, spy probe, a Labor MP investigated over links to China. And how you can help Australia's fastest man become the fastest man on Earth.
Hello there. The aviation industry in Australia dominated headlines again today. This time it's Virgin. Administrators Deloitte confirming this morning the airline's future has been secured. But what does it all mean for the company's shareholders and creditors? An update to the market reveals no return to shareholders is anticipated. As for the stricken airline's creditors who are owed $6.8 billion, administrators can't say how much they'll receive, but they will be asked to approve the sale to Bain Capital in August. So Virgin is still in a trading halt, but travel stocks were smashed again, including Qantas, which shares were available again today. The Flying Kangaroo down more than 9%, but that price is higher than the discounted price offered to institutional investors yesterday. Coles and Woolies were up after the supermarkets reinstated product limits as COVID-19 cases spike. The market finishing the day up 1.5%. Now, we got an update from the Finance Department this afternoon about the state of the nation's books in this pandemic world. In the year to May, the budget deficit was just under $65 billion. That's about $60 billion worse than projected in the mid-year budget update. Playing a role in that blowout, government spending being almost $33 billion higher than planned. To the dollar, it's buying just under 69 US cents. And that's finance.
Australia's spy agency has raided a Labor MP's home and office over possible links to China. It's part of an ongoing investigation with suspicions Chinese government agents have tried to infiltrate our political system.
Shaukat Musselman is a little-known Labor MP. Now he's the subject of an inquiry into collusion with Beijing, potentially through one of his staffers.
These are serious allegations. Police and intelligence agencies don't raid Parliament House for any reason at all. They do it because there are serious concerns.
It's dreadfully concerning. It's terrible. You know, there is an expectation on MPs that they're, whatever they do, it is in the best interests of the people of this state.
He hasn't kept his regard for China a secret, only months ago publicly praising its handling of COVID-19.
Can I just say that the Chinese government should be commended for the immediate action that it took?
And often speaks about the country's tense diplomatic relationship.
Frankly, there are apparently espionage and there's issues that are questionable by the Australian government, questions the potential interference in Australian political affairs.
But now those questions have him at the centre of an investigation into a Chinese Communist Party plot.
Foreign interference is a real problem, and it's a problem that needs to be taken very seriously. It's a growing threat.
This ASIO probe will not only create a political storm at a state level, it's also likely to further aggravate tensions between Australia and China more broadly at a time when the relationship is already sour. But the AFP says there is currently no threat to the country's safety.
We won't cop anyone coming and seeking to interfere in our political system.
Musselman, though, is still an MP, just suspended while the investigation continues. Kimberly Pratt for 10 News First.
The fastest man in Australia wants to become the fastest man on the planet. But to do it, Roscoe McGlashan says he needs your help.
Rare and priceless items belonging to a man with a need for speed.
These wheels are going 638 mile an hour or 1,026 kilometres an hour.
26 years ago, Roscoe McGlashan set the Australian land speed record in a jet-powered car. Now he wants to go quicker than the speed of sound.
Yeah, I've got the title of fastest Aussie on earth, and I want to be the fastest man on earth.
To do that, he needs to finish the Aussie Invader 5R, a powerful rocket on wheels. He's building the 9.2-tonne racer with an estimated 200,000 horsepower in his backyard. It's designed to go from 0 to more than 1,000 miles an hour in just 20 seconds.
So we're going to get to 1,000 mile an hour in 20 seconds, then refuel it again at the other end and re-oxidise it and then come back the other way to claim a world record.
To make his dream come true, he's auctioning off his most prized possessions, including items from the day he raced his way into the history books, like this suit.
And there's a bit of bent-up steel around here that we hit at over 600 mile an hour. Anyone else will look at it and say, well, it's a bit of steel rod. What's the value of that? But to us, to my team, it means a hell of a lot.
All of it is up for grabs online. But to get your hands on it, you've got to be fast. The sale goes till Sunday.
It's a fabulous opportunity for the private collector, your man cave, or a museum, or just something to hang in your own home to own it and bid online.
All the stuff means a real lot to me. It's everything's got memories. We hope that there's going to be some interest out there with some speed freaks.
Everything sold will be signed by Roscoe himself. Chiara Zaffino for 10 News First.
Now here's Michael Schultz with a look ahead to weather. What happened to the rain today?
Be patient. It's on the doorstep. I said last night it was going to be a slow wait for this activity to come through. The front is slowly dying as it moves over the southwest corner of the state, but it has reached the southern suburbs. Here's the radar from a short time ago, and you can see Mandra's almost had 9 millimetres, Dwelling Up's had 4.4 millimetres, and it's just getting to Jarrahdale and to Rottnest Island. It will slowly make its way into the metropolitan area, but the fall should be less than what Mandra's reported so far. 21.3 was the maximum today. The overnight minimum was 8.8, and it was warm enough around the area today. 22 at Guildford, Bullsbrook and Lancelin in the northwesterlies. 18 was recorded at Bickley and at Dwelling Up. Now, tomorrow is going to be an interesting day because we don't actually get a frontal passage through us tomorrow, but that next front that's going to arrive early on Sunday will be drawing moisture down from the northwest, and that could generate some moderate falls along the west coast, could include Perth. I'll talk about that at 5 to 6.
See you then. Ahead on 10 News, flying frauds. 150 international pilots stood down for cheating on their exams. And find out what makes this baby gorilla so special. At least one passenger has been killed and a commuter bus left hanging off the side of a Polish motorway after the driver reportedly fainted. The articulated bus smashed through a bridge barrier. The front half fell off and landed on the road below. The back was caught on what remained of the crash barricade. One of the passengers told local media he believed the driver was speeding and stressed because the bus was running late. Pakistan International Airlines has grounded 150 pilots after a report into a crash last month found many are not qualified to fly. An investigation into the crash in May, which killed 97 people, revealed many of the pilots had either fake licences or had cheated in their exams. Some had even reported they sat their exams on a public holiday. The report blamed the crash on a failure of both the pilots and air traffic control, causing the plane to slam into houses just short of the runway. A small-scale miner in Tanzania has become an overnight millionaire after digging out 2 huge specimens of the country's unique gem, tanzanite. Workers found almost 15 kilograms of the precious stone worth just under $5 million. Tanzanite is popular in jewellery but is quite soft and chips easily. Belgium Zoo has welcomed a critically endangered baby gorilla. This bundle of joy is just 2 days old and totally dependent on its mother Mambel. Western lowland gorillas are increasingly rare in the wild, with the population falling by more than 60% in the last 25 years due to habitat loss, hunting and disease. For those hit financially by COVID-19, there are some key dates coming up for accessing superannuation early. And the tax office says there's only 4 days left to apply.
It's the super scheme getting money to people in a pinch during the pandemic.
These are uncertain times, and in uncertain times there are many people who have needed to access a little bit more help to get them through.
The latest figures released this week show the tax office has approved around 2.1 million applications worth almost $16 billion. The average payment just under $7,500.
You must take your time when applying for early release of super. Any mistakes in the form will delay payment.
The clients have been telling us the process to register for the application is quite simple.
And with only 4 days until the end of the financial year, temporary residents who want to apply should do so now. They can't after July 1, while eligible Australian and New Zealand citizens who want the second instalment can apply from Wednesday, but it needs to be in before September 24.
And we've worked with super funds to make it as easy to get money to people fast.
Your tax return could also include a few extra elements this year, with a large amount of the population working from home in recent months because of COVID-19.
I'd look at any tools or equipment they've purchased for work. So there's new COVID deductions this year, which if you were working from home, you could claim 80 cents for every hour worked at home between 1st of March to 30 June.
And in these uncertain economic times, every little bit helps. Gillian Bowen for 10 News First.
After the break, Health Hope. See the new life-saving tool being used by Perth doctors. And what you can and can't do on the dance floor when nightclubs reopen at midnight. The top stories here on 10 News First. WA nightclubs are just hours away from reopening when Phase 4 COVID restrictions come into effect at midnight. But revellers are still being asked to keep their distance on the dance floor. A second wave of panic buying in Victoria has prompted supermarkets to reimpose nationwide restrictions. Here in WA, Woolworths customers will be limited to 2 packs of toilet paper and paper towels. And we could be seeing some of the world's best soccer players here in Perth. Australia and New Zealand have won shared hosting rights for the 2023 Women's World Cup tournament. 2 schoolgirls have had a near miss in Baldivis. The pair was walking along Clyde Avenue yesterday morning when an out-of-control car came barrelling along the footpath. No one was injured. Witnesses say the driver was later arrested. A man's been sentenced over a brutal road rage bashing in Caversham. His victim was saved by 2 good Samaritans, but still suffers from the attack.
Still unable to work 2 years after a vicious road rage attack.
From who I once was to where I am now, I'm
Nothing.
It happened on West Swan Road in Caversham in 2018. Rodney Naif was beat by iron by Adam Paul Wright, as Wright's father watched on. Today, his attacker was jailed for 2 years and 9 months.
There's probably no amount of time which can be given to the gentleman to reflect the pain and impact that it's had actually on me.
The court heard Adam Paul Wright repeatedly beat Mr Naif with the tyre iron, hitting him over the head with it even after he'd fallen to the ground. The attacker only stopped when 2 members of the public saw what was happening and intervened.
These 2 guys that saved me, I've never got the option to say that before, but thank you so much, guys. And I wouldn't wish this upon anybody.
Wright will be eligible for parole after serving half his sentence. Brendan Crew for 10 News First.
New life-saving heart scan technology has been installed at Royal Perth Hospital. Only the second system of its kind in Australia, it saves doctors vital seconds while treating patients during cardiac arrest.
An upgrade unveiled in the heart of Royal Perth Hospital.
This particular piece of technology is one of only 50 sites worldwide and just the second in Australia to install this $1.5 million state-of-the-art system.
Spanning from ceiling to floor inside a dedicated room for heart scans, the new X-ray system stands ready to help doctors save lives. Cardiologists say this technology is faster, smarter, more accurate and clearer to see.
It pulls everything together in a screen that we can see, and I'm sure you can appreciate the image quality is superb. So in a blocked artery where we can't see the dye going beyond, the CT can help us guide our intervention.
Roy Davies is one of nearly 5,000 patients who come through the lab each year. This morning, doctors used the new system to check a stent in his heart after he felt chest pain last month.
I was a little bit anxious last night, to be honest, thinking that I'm going to have the same procedure as what I did last time.
Previously an invasive and uncomfortable procedure, the 63-year-old says today's appointment was quick and painless.
Whereas now it's done on the finger and it's through the wrist there, and I'll be home probably in a couple of hours.
In an emergency, when seconds matter, doctors are now better equipped to make fast decisions.
It's like patients who have had cardiac arrest or patients who are having large heart attacks. Time is very critical.
Amelia Simpson for 10 News First.
In just a few hours, nightclubs and dance floors will be open again as more COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Bo Pearson is warming up for this week's Around the Town. Bo, there are still some rules in place.
Well, that's right, Mon. In just a few hours at midnight tonight, dance floors and nightclubs will be open all around WA, and I'm very reliably informed that here at the Court Hotel, one of the best dance floors in town will be absolutely rocking at about midnight tonight. But it probably won't be the same as what it used to be pre-COVID. And to talk through how some of it will work, we've got the owner of the Court Hotel, Bree Maddox, here. Bree, you obviously must be very excited to be back to some sort of normality.
Oh, normality. We're so excited to be almost back to normal. It's going to be like New Year's Eve here tonight, countdown till midnight.
How does the actual dance floor work now with these new restrictions?
Well, we have to rely on people to do the right thing, and it's completely up to them. We're not going to be out there with the ruler, as the government has confirmed today. And, you know, we don't want to stop people having a good time, but we've just got to ask them to be responsible.
And we're seeing some vision now from Pride last year, which is when the dance floor is probably at its best. Are we hoping it's going to be back to some sort of fun levels later on tonight?
It'll be back to fun later on tonight. Absolutely fun. I think people have missed coming out and dancing and letting their hair down and just having so much fun.
And you think people are ready to do the right thing? People are sort of, you know, ready to do the right thing, respect each other's space on a dance floor?
I think we have a majority of people ready to do the right thing, and there's always going to be a few who don't. So, you know, we'll be quietly reminding and gently and fun reminding people just to do the right thing. But the dance floors are back. I think it's going to be a huge night of celebration. I think everyone is just going to be in the best mood come midnight.
Awesome. Well, good luck, Bree. Thank you very much. Mon, it's going to be a hell of a night, and in just a few hours' time, these tables will be gone. This will be a giant dance floor, and I might even bust out a few moves later on for you guys. I'll see you down here.
Well, just remember the rules, Bo. Time for sport now with Lockie Reed, and we meet one of the new faces at the Eagles.
Yes, Bon, absolutely. They're hoping he can add a touch of class to the forward 50. Also, the drought is over for Liverpool. Plus, bringing the world down under, winners are grinners. And we pull the strings and blow the horn on the AFL's best theme song. Welcome to Sport, everyone. Celebrations are in full swing after Australia and New Zealand were unveiled as the hosts of the 2023 World Cup. And Matilda's captain Sam Kerr believes it's our chance to show the world we are a real force in football.
No taking the wind out of anyone's sails this time.
The host country of the FIFA Women's World Cup, Australia.
It's going to leave a great legacy for the country. We're going to have more young girls. We're going to have more women that are going to be playing football.
Australia and New Zealand beat Colombia to win hosting rights for the showpiece event after all other contenders dropped out. Having sold the bid in 2023, our highest profile Matilda will be nearly 29 years old.
Someone asked me, would I rather go to an Olympics or a World Cup? And I said World Cup 100%. This is the pinnacle of our sport.
The AFL's refusal to suspend its competition means Melbourne will only host a quarter-final. The semi-finals will be played in Brisbane and Auckland, the final in Sydney.
I never would have dreamt that this would have happened. It's so special for this sport.
7th in current world rankings, the Matildas have never gone beyond the quarter-final stage at a World Cup.
There's an emotional attachment to this team. They're accessible and above all, they're great role models to not just little girls but little boys as well.
The FFA mindful of the flack they've copped in the past. A detailed report published by FIFA in 2014 found evidence of Australia making improper payments in its $46 million taxpayer-funded failed 2022 Men's World Cup bid. While last year they sacked former Matildas coach Alan Stajic on the eve of the tournament in France.
That we will leave no stone unturned to produce the best Women's World Cup.
Michael Caine for 10 News First.
It's been a hoodoo hanging around the neck of one of the world's most famous clubs, a joke for rival supporters. But finally, Liverpool are celebrating a league title, their first in 30 years.
You never party alone if it's been 30 years of waiting. Liverpool fans surrounded their fortress, Anfield, the centrepiece of an eruption of joy. The dark skies turned red. Their players were at a barbecue watching Chelsea's clash with Manchester City. With the Blues upset confirming their title win, they went nuts.
Well, yeah, after that, it was just celebration time and we all enjoyed it. We all proud of each other.
They went nuts again during Van Dijk's interview. Manager Jurgen Klopp is forever a Liverpool legend, delivering them to the promised land. The club has finished runners-up 5 times since they last won in 1990.
30 years ago. Oh, I was 23.
It's amazing to finally get over the line, just a little bit overwhelmed right now.
Unfortunately, I have no words. It's unbelievable. It's much more than I ever thought would be possible.
Liverpool were already world and European champions. They've won the title with 7 games to go, a new record.
You just can't get better than this. This team is flawless in every position.
By the way, onwards and upwards. And I think we've got a lot more happy days to look forward to now, as long as Jurgen's there.
One of the great hoodoos of world sport is over. Better late than never, Liverpool are Premier League champions. Bence Hammerley for 10 News First.
Good stuff. Jermaine Jones was the last player added to West Coast's roster over the summer, and it's hoped the 21-year-old can give the Eagles some much-needed spark up forward as they look to jumpstart their season.
West Coast could do with a bit of Willie Rioli magic at the moment, but the band's star continues to toil away up north. So tomorrow, the Eagles blood Jermaine Jones as they continue their search for something special up forward.
He's got confidence, he's got energy, he's a Mozzie. So we need that, we need that energy. So from a football term, without Willie and Venables, we're sort of still looking for a permanent spot in that forward line. So he's got his opportunity. He's done it the hard way. And now the ball's in his court, so we're looking forward to him playing.
The Victorian makes it 5 Indigenous players in West Coast colours when they take on Port Adelaide, as the club rallies around Liam Ryan, who's once again a victim of a racist comment on his own Instagram page.
It's not the first time, but it doesn't make it any easier. So everyone's angry and annoyed, but like I said, I think the best thing we can do is educate people.
Tom Hickey has earned a recall as the Eagles look for better supply to their midfielders. Oscar Allen making way, but Nick Natanui is still in need of some support in the middle.
Look, he's never going to play every minute of every game. So he'll the longer the season goes, the more minutes he'll play. So the longer he plays on ground, maybe the less impact he can have in terms of his intensity. So we've just got to get that balance right.
The Eagles are coming off back-to-back losses, and while they've overcome slumps in the past, a shortened season means they can ill afford to stay down too long.
Yeah, we're disappointed. We've got higher expectations. But we also know that there's a long game in play as well. We need to get going pretty quick. At Port Adelaide are probably the informed team of the competition.
You know, they're one of the leading teams in the competition. We've got a great opportunity to see where we're at a little bit, and we know how good they are. They're a great side.
Steve Allen for 10 News First.
Crown Resorts are already planning the arrival of Collingwood and Geelong after the AFL announced they'd be part of a WA hub. The two Victorian teams will travel west next month for a 21-day stay, where they'll play games and are expected to stay at the hotel, which is a stone's throw away from Optus Stadium.
The current proposal is they would go into Promenade Hotel, which we can seal off, so we can seal off Promenade Hotel, plus part of the ballroom, so we can do a gymnasium there. We've got a restaurant there, we've got a pool, we've got everything they need. So that can actually be sealed off for the public, and we think it's a great option. We're very excited about that.
The Cats and the Pies will play each other in Perth on Friday, July 17, in front of 30,000 footy fans. The AFL is still weighing up its punishment for Conor McKenna's COVID-19 protocol breach. Gillon McLachlan hinted the Irishman will get off lightly as the Bombers sharpen their minds for a clash against the Blues.
After one of the weirdest weeks in footy history, the Bombers will attempt to put Conor's COVID drama to the back of their minds. But the exact details surrounding how and for how long the Irishman has been infected are still up in the air.
And whether it was from an illness in Ireland or others, that's for the medical people to continue to work through, and maybe we won't have certainty on it.
The Dons are back in action Saturday night against David Teague's Blues.
Oh, look, they'll come out hungry and we're ready for that.
Carlton will be without big young marking target Harry Mackay.
Harry's, I think it's bruised ribs. He's just sore more than anything. So, look, he'll be a test next week.
The Hawks are still in mourning after the passing of coaching legend John Kennedy. Alistair Clarkson opening up on the legacy left by his first coach at the Kangaroos.
You know, those sorts of things never leave you when you have people who have had a positive impact on the way that you live your life, and Kanga was one of those for me.
Former Giant John Patton is struggling, but the master coach says give him time.
It's been very, very unusual circumstances for him. He's played 3 games with our footy club, and he needs a period of time just to get himself accustomed to the rigours of the game again.
After being punished by the Pies last week, Brett Ratton has revealed some old-fashioned firm feedback was delivered to his charges.
No, there was more of a bit of the tough love. It wasn't a whack as such. It was more, this is a reality. What do you think?
But in line with COVID-19 requirements, the mouth guard stayed in the bags.
Well, you can't train as a team. So in our little groups there was a bit more of an edge.
Nick Butler for 10 News First.
The Western Bulldogs forward line took a hit after last night's 28-point win over Sydney. West Aussie Aaron Norton and goal sneak Sam Lloyd both hurt, but the cruellest blow was suffered by Swans ruckman Sam Naismith, who needs another knee reconstruction.
Knee injuries have prevented Sam Naismith from playing for 2 years, but in just his second game back, he's torn his anterior cruciate ligament again.
Obviously the break, he lost his sister through that break, and then he comes back and does his knee. So it's a terrible run for him.
Longmire has seen a lot in his long and distinguished career, but this appeared to hit him hard.
In a number of ways, just had a terrible run, so we need to look after him.
The Dogs weren't as hit emotionally, but were structurally when star young forward Aaron Norton hurt his ankle.
It was Aaron Norton, so ankle injury. We saw that intercept that he made early in that first term.
He's only a 20-year-old key forward who's going to be a very influential player over the journey, so we will miss him, but we'll find a way.
Sam Lloyd also injured his shoulder after a heavy shove from Alir.
Lloyd paddles it in front, wants the ball to talk for him. So Lloyd just feeling the shoulder.
Other than the injuries, it was a good night for the Dogs.
Bontempelli. That is a great mark.
They set up the victory with a dominant opening half, and the Swans were never really in the hunt.
That is a big goal.
Swans captain Josh Kennedy stoically played as the family thought his late grandfather John would want him to.
You'd imagine now he probably takes a deep breath and takes it in a bit more, and he's very close to John.
The footy gods work in mysterious ways. Former Swan Alex Johnson has hurt his knee again training with old Zaverians and will need a 7th knee reconstruction. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
A lighter, fitter, faster Scott McLaughlin has made the most of isolation ahead of the Supercars return at Sydney Super Sprint. Drivers haven't been on track in over 100 days, but that all ends tomorrow. McLaughlin is leading the championship by 27 points from Jamie Whincup and revealed he shed 10 kilos through exercise and home cooking.
Just up the ante a bit. I had more time to, plan, food and all that sort of stuff around home. I'm normally travelling a lot, I'm always travelling, so it's hard to control, what you eat.
Drivers will race in front of no fans, while teams will also have reduced pit crews this weekend. Well, there's a big sound, and it's from a different part of town, with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra putting a classical touch on AFL club songs. Since the Crows and Dockers are yet to win, seems only fair for their fans to hear their tune coming out of tubas and bassoons. For hitting the right notes, we'll drum up a play of the day for these sports-mad musicians. Plenty coming up a little after 6. Mon, what's your favourite theme song?
The Dockers sounded pretty good there out of the tubas. Gave it a bit of warmth.
The Grand Old Flag's the best song, though.
Up next, Michael Schultz with your weekend forecast.
Can you sing the...
There is a very slow cold front moving towards us, and it is producing some reasonable falls if you actually get under it. Here is the radar loop from a short time ago, and you can see Mandra's had almost 9 millimetres, Dwelling Up's over 7 millimetres, and in the last half hour, Rottnest Island has picked up 5.2 millimetres. Hopefully it will make its way across the rest of the suburbs over the next few hours. 21.3 was the maximum today. The overnight minimum was 8.8. 18.3 at the moment, northwesterly at 9 kilometres an hour, the barometer 1,014. It's on a slight rise, but ever so slight, and the relative humidity 60%. Daytime temperatures got to 22 at Guildford, Bullsbrook and Lancelin. 18 it was at the low end at Bickley and Dwelling Up. Around the state, not much less than that. 17 the lowest maximum at Bridgetown, Shannon and Rocky Gully. 33 once again at Columbaroo, the highest maximum in the state. And the cold spot this morning out to the east of us was 2 degrees. It was recorded at York. Most rain in the 24 hours up until 9 o'clock this morning was 11 millimetres at Margaret River. Brunswick Junction had 23 millimetres after 9 o'clock this morning, which was the most in that period. Now, the satellite images show the front almost dying as it reaches the southwest corner of the state, but it lingers over you for a fair while. So Bunbury's had 17 millimetres. Dardanup and Samson Brook Dam have both had 22 millimetres. On the chart, you can see that we stay in northwesterlies tomorrow, and they will be increasing during the day. A gale warning has been issued from Cape Lewin around to Walpole. Strong wind warnings run up the west coast to Dawesville and along the south coast to Bremer Bay. That next front isn't going to come through until early on Sunday morning. Tomorrow, in that northwesterly, it'll be drawing moisture from the tropics down to the west coast, but it won't be pushing it inland. So while there might be some moderate falls near the west coast, there'll be nothing over the agricultural areas. The Bureau is suggesting there will be some showers from Carnarvon across to Hopeton. And there's likely to be some thunderstorm activity. That's probably going to be south of Geraldton and across to Albany. Now, for the major centres tomorrow, Bunbury's expecting showers and thunderstorms. There's likely to be showers increasing for Geraldton, just a shower or two for Albany. Carnarvon, you should see the cloud, maybe not a shower, and the other centres should be mostly sunny tomorrow. On the east coast, they're expecting partly cloudy conditions for many cities, but it should be sunny in Darwin, Adelaide and and Hobart, early frost for Canberra and in Alice Springs. Northwesterly winds will be around 15 to 20 knots for the forecast period tomorrow. Seas between 1 and 1.5 metres, a west to southwesterly swell between 1.5 and 2. The high tide's 1.1 metres at 19 minutes past midday. The low tide 0.77 of a metre, and that's expected at 28 minutes past 10 tomorrow night. Sunrise at 18 past 7 and sunset at 22 past 5. The forecast is for showers. There is the risk of a thunderstorm. That's more likely late in the day than early in the day. We're expecting moderate north to northwesterly winds. The rainfall total tonight could be around 3 to 4 millimetres and tomorrow between 5 and 10 millimetres. The minimum should drop to 12 and tomorrow's maximum is expected to reach 21. Sunday, we expect showers and thunderstorms as a cold front moves through. The rainfall should be heavier. The Bureau's forecasting 20 to 30 millimetres of rain, a minimum of 14 and a maximum of 20. Monday, another cold front. Showers and thunderstorms mainly in the morning. 10 to 20 millimetres of rain, 13 to 20 the temperature range, then just a few showers on Tuesday and 20 degrees. Wednesday, a shower or two under 1 millimetre, a top of 19.
WA nightclubs are just hours away from reopening as Phase 4 restrictions kick in at midnight. The state is leading the nation in returning to normal in the wake of the COVID pandemic.
Last-minute cleaning before the doors open, with WA nightclubs ready for their first crowds from midnight. Phase 4 restrictions allowing entertainment venues to get back to business.
More people will be back at work, more businesses functioning, more customers out there. There's huge pent-up demand, I might add.
Across the group, we have about 100 staff coming back on board, so it's very exciting, obviously, for the staff and for us to get them back.
For many venues like this, midnight marks the long-awaited return of normality where we can stand and have a drink, thank you, and even a dance. But as for social distancing on the dance floor, the Health Minister says it comes down to trust.
Police will not be out there tonight with a 1.5 metre ruler on the dance floor ensuring that people stay apart. But we want people to be sensible.
Entertainment venues like Optus Stadium and RAC Arena can also operate at 50% capacity, with punters also able to join the gaming tables at Crown Casino. And getting home has been taken care of too, with the return of free late-night trains.
As a result, we wanted to make sure that we had our trains operating. I expect there will be a lot of usage, but I expect there'll be a lot of activity out there tonight.
Natalie Forrest for 10 News First.
America has set another record, reporting more than 37,000 coronavirus infections in just one day. California, Florida and Texas are leading the pack, with more than half the country reporting significant increases in infection rates. Numbers are so bad in Texas, experts are predicting the state could overtake Brazil, the world's second worst hit country, in 2 weeks. Despite the evidence, President Trump believes his country is doing well.
If we didn't want to test, or if we didn't test, we wouldn't have cases. But we have cases because we test. Deaths are down. We have one of the lowest mortality rates. We've done an incredible, historic job.
There are deepening concerns in the UK too, where a heat wave has brought tens of thousands onto the beaches, ignoring social distancing rules. There are fears tonight agents from the Chinese government have tried to infiltrate the inner workings of our political system. A New South Wales Labor MP is at the heart of an investigation by our spy agency, ASIO, culminating in a raid on his home and party office today by federal police. But Shaquette Mossel-Main's family says he's being victimised.
How convinced are you of your brother's innocence?
Very convinced. He's my brother. He's my blood and soul. Everybody is going to be the same with their own family and siblings.
Mossel-Main, though still an MP, has been suspended while the investigation continues. The future of Virgin is no longer up in the air, with American equity firm Bain Capital today confirmed as the successful bidder for the battling airline. Charlotte Goodlett filed this report from Sydney Airport.
It's not a completely done deal yet, but this is some of the best news that Virgin's 9,000 staff would have had in months. This morning, the administrator Deloitte signed a sale deed with Bain Capital that will hopefully save thousands of jobs and get the airline back in the air. As part of their commitment, Bain Capital, a US equity firm, will also keep on management team, including CEO Paul Scurra, honouring Velocity flights and travel credits, and also paying out $450 million in employee entitlements. Unions and staff celebrated the news today, but are still calling for an extension to the JobKeeper program.
We've been sort of sitting in limbo for the last few months, not knowing what it's going to be like or what's going to be happening with us.
And what we all want now is to work constructively and vigilantly and diligently to get this airline back up in the air with the maximum possible footprint.
Well, we've got good news today. It's an industry as a whole that won't recover for some time, and we need this federal government to step up.
Now, this proposal by Bain Capital will be voted on at a creditors' meeting in August. There are 12,000 creditors that are owed close to $7 billion. And in a late twist today, another group emerged. Bondholders who'd also been in the running to recapitalise Virgin said that they were disappointed with the administrator's handling of it, and they too will be presenting at that meeting. Their proposal is to list Virgin on the ASX and have it owned by Australians.
Police say a driver was drunk when he slammed his car into the wall of Craigie Church last night. The Ford Falcon was seen speeding in Woodvale around 10 p.m. Officers tracked it from above with the police air wing. The vehicle eventually crashed into a wall on Camberwarra Drive in Craigie. It's alleged the 25-year-old driver blew twice the legal blood alcohol limit. He's due to appear in court on a number of traffic offences at a later date. A Perth musician has admitted to vandalising a statue of James Sterling. Malachy John O'Connor spray-painted the city monument earlier this month. This morning he pleaded guilty to property damage.
The fact is that statue, what that represents, the likeness, the man behind the likeness of that statue murdered up to about 150 Indigenous people. So I just feel it's very culturally insensitive.
The 30-year-old will be sentenced next week. Australia and New Zealand will host the 2023 Women's World Cup. Games will be played right across the country, including here in Perth, and there's no one more excited than our very own Sam Kerr.
Celebrations in full swing. The world's attention turned down under with Australia and New Zealand named hosts of the 2023 Women's World Cup.
I couldn't sleep, to be honest. I was pretty nervous and yeah, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
It's a landmark moment in women's sport.
Someone asked me, would I rather go to an Olympics or a World Cup? And I said World Cup 100%. This is the pinnacle of our sport.
Matches will be held in 12 cities across our two countries. Perth is expected to host both group stages and early finals.
This is going to be the biggest thing Western Australia's ever hosted.
But we won't be getting big finals fixtures. Strict FIFA rules combined with our AFL season mean Optus Stadium is off the cards. Instead, a 20,000-seat HBF Park will host the matches.
There's a lot of demands by FIFA at this very early stage that kind of preclude Optus as an option.
But that doesn't mean we won't see the Matildas play in Perth. If anyone can persuade the FFA, it's the captain.
And hopefully the Matildas get a game here in Perth, so if FFA is watching, fingers crossed.
Steph Baumgartel for 10 News First.
Talking more sport now, Lockie, a sportsman left blindsided.
This is unbelievable. His mentor has left and joined the enemy. I'll have the details in a moment. Plus, Adam Simpson tells us how the Eagles will kickstart their season. Welcome back. We can't get enough of the news that Australia and New Zealand have won a historic joint bid to host the 2023 FIFA World Cup. After the announcement, Ros Kelly caught up with veteran goalkeeper Lydia Williams.
Lydia, you flew up from Melbourne to be with the Matildas and FFA officials for the announcement at 1 a.m. this morning. Talk us through that moment.
Oh, I mean, it was pretty surreal. I still don't have words for it. It was life-changing.
It looked very, very tense in that office.
Yeah, it definitely was. There was a lot of text back and forth and talking, I guess, from, you know, the people in the know and our higher-ups, trying to find out what way they think it might go. I think we were kind of, you know, hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. But, you know, for us it was like something good is bound to happen. We're waiting for it. Surely our luck's going to change, and it did, and it's incredible.
You've played in 4 World Cups already. What will this one mean to you personally?
Oh, this will be icing on the cake. Never would I thought I've been in one World Cup, but, you know, to possibly be in 5 now, especially at home, it would be a dream come true. And, you know, I just have to make sure I'm fit and healthy.
It's been a really powerful time for women in sport. This will be a real game changer in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Every World Cup, Women's World Cup, it's been breaking records of the past one. So, you know, we're hoping to have, you know, over 1 billion views, multitudes of people coming to Australia and New Zealand, crowds just surging. So, yeah, we're hoping to break records.
Yep, it's going to be big. Social distancing is out the window as Liverpool celebrates its first league title in 30 years. Supporters have taken over the streets as Jurgen Klopp's side wrapped up the trophy with 7 matches remaining. Liverpool players were at a barbecue to watch Chelsea beat Man City, which confirmed they'd be crowned champions.
It's amazing to finally get over the line, you know.
Unfortunately, I have no words. It's unbelievable. It's much more than I ever thought what would be possible.
Liverpool were already European and world champions. The Reds an incredible 23 points clear of second place Manchester City. Tim Kelly has presented West Coast debutant Jermaine Jones with his jumper ahead of tomorrow's clash against Port Adelaide. Jones lives with Kelly and the Eagles are hoping both can kickstart their season.
West Coast could do with a bit of Willie Rioli magic at the moment, but the band's star continues to toil away up north. So tomorrow, the Eagles blood Jermaine Jones as they continue their search for something special up forward.
We had team meeting today and not knowing that all my family was going to be on FaceTime when I walked in. So, yeah, we had team meeting and I walked in and they all were just there. It was my mum, my sister, my little cousins. My brothers, they were all there, so it was a pretty good moment. And yeah, and then get my jumper presented in front of them as well. It's pretty awesome.
He's got confidence, he's got energy, he's a Mozzie. So we need that, we need that energy. So from a football term, without Willie and Venables, we're sort of still looking for a permanent spot in that forward line. So he's got his opportunity, he's done it the hard way. And now the ball's in his court, so we're looking forward to him playing.
Tom Hickey has earned a recall as the Eagles look for better supply to their midfielders. Oscar Allen making way, but Nick Natanui is still in need of some support in the middle.
Look, he's never going to play every minute of every game. So he'll the longer the season goes, the more minutes he'll play. So the longer he plays on ground, maybe the less impact he can have in terms of his intensity. So we're just got to get that balance right.
The Eagles are coming off back-to-back losses, and while they've overcome slumps in the past, a shortened season means they can ill afford to stay down too long.
Yeah, we're disappointed. We've got higher expectations. But we also know that there's a long game in play as well. We need to get going pretty quick. At Port Adelaide are probably the informed team of the competition.
Steve Allen for 10 News First.
Jeff Horn admits he was shocked and blindsided by the news. Former coach Dundee Kim has switched camps and joined his next opponent, Tim Zhu. Kim has been in Horn's corner for 6 years before parting ways in January. The former world champ is still coming to terms with his mentor's defection.
It's going to give him pretty good advantage if Dundee's saying every little move. Dundee's been with me for 6+ years, so he knows how I move, and if he's telling Tim exactly how he moves, which is what it looked like he was doing, that's going to be a big advantage.
Horn says he's unsure if he'll now switch his training camp in preparation for their bouts. Like social distancing, Canada's Mackenzie Hughes is a golfer no other player can catch right now. He shot a 10 under par 60 at the Travellers Championship and says it was easy.
It's pretty fun. You know, the hole starts to look pretty big and you're just thinking about making birdies.
Mackenzie missed the magical 59, but along with a bunch of putts, he also holed our second play of the days. I think the Dockers and the Eagles will both win tomorrow. There it is.
Well,
put your house
hoping.
on it.
Put your house on it.
Yeah, put your house on it.
You're very brave. The dry Friday's leading into a wet weekend. Michael has the forecast when we come back.
I've got a little shack out the back, so it's not very big. It's cheap.
Good evening. That cold front is still slowly creeping towards us. Mandra's recorded almost 9 millimetres and there's been 5 millimetres on Rottnest Island. We should see some showers through central and northern parts of the metropolitan area during the evening. The satellite image shows the front almost dying on the southwest corner, but if you get under it, there's been some pretty good falls of rain. Samson Brook Dam has recorded 30 millimetres today and Darden up near Bunbury 25. Bunbury's had 17. Tomorrow, another cold front moves into the eastern Indian Ocean as this one slips away, but it's still drawing moisture from the northwest and that will affect the west coast. Anywhere south of Carnarvon you could pick up some showers, possibly some thunderstorms south of Geraldton, and there may be some moderate falls near the west coast. On the wind front, we're staying in the northwesterlies and they're going to pick up later in the day. Strong wind warnings are expected everywhere from Dawesville around to Bremer Bay, and within that area there's likely to be some gales later between Cape Leeuwin and Walpole. As far as Perth's concerned, we're north of that strong wind warning, so the northwesterlies will be 15 to 20 knots. The seas between 1 and 1.5 metres, the west to southwesterly swell between 1.5 and 2.5. The maximum today was 21.3 at 17 past 1. The minimum was 8.8 at 26 to 7 this morning. It's dropped under 18 now. The winds are northwesterly, 11 kilometres an hour. The barometer's starting to look pretty steady around 1,014 hectopascals. The daytime temperatures tomorrow, 17 expected at Dwellingup, 19 at Mandurah and Bickley, 22 up to the north at Lancelin. Most of the suburbs are going to be around 20 or 21 degrees. That includes the city, 21 the maximum after an overnight minimum of 12. We are expecting showers. Overnight we could get up to 4 millimetres. Tomorrow there could be 5 to 10 millimetres. There is a risk of a thunderstorm late in the afternoon and tomorrow evening, and the winds will be northwesterly. Sunday we could get 20 to 30 millimetres of rain, a top of 20. Monday we could get 10 to 20 millimetres from showers and thunderstorms, a top of 20. Another 20 maximum on Tuesday, but we should only get 1 or 2 millimetres. Have a good weekend.
I will. Thank you, Michael. You have a great weekend. See you next week.
See you later. Good night.